Success begins with a decision, but it is faith that sustains it. Without faith, desire is weak. Without belief, ambition crumbles. Every man or woman who ever achieved greatness began with a fire inside that could not be seen by others, but was felt deeply within. That fire was faith. The kind of faith that doesn't ask for proof, doesn't wait for permission, and does not shrink in the face of fear. Faith is power, pure, focused, unwavering power. You cannot move mountains if you believe they are immovable. You cannot conquer challenges if you expect defeat. The moment you believe something is possible for you, the moment your mind accepts it as real, your behavior starts aligning with that vision. That's how change begins. Faith does not beg, faith declares, faith demands. The world bends not to the loudest voice, but to the most certain one. Certainty creates motion, and motion breaks limits. Visualization is the process of seeing what does not yet exist, with clarity, emotion, and repetition. Close your eyes and see the life you want. Make it vivid, make it detailed. Make it so real in your mind that your current reality starts to feel like a lie. Champions don't wait for results to believe. They believe first, and results follow. The mind works in pictures, and when you give it clear instructions, it finds ways to execute. Those who visualize victory repeatedly can't help but become it. Understand this. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. If you repeatedly visualize yourself achieving your desire, your subconscious begins to accept that image as fact. That's when the shift happens. That's when doubt begins to die. And when doubt dies, action becomes automatic. Suddenly, you're not forcing yourself to work. You're pulled toward it, pulled by belief, pulled by purpose. But visualization alone isn't enough. You must believe, not half-heartedly, not once in a while. You must believe so deeply that there is no plan B. Burn the boats. Tear down the escape routes. Give your mind no option but forward. This kind of belief isn't casual, it's obsessive, it's dominant. It takes control of your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, and once belief dominates the mind, it changes the body. It changes your language, it changes your energy, and it changes your results. Faith without action is dead, but faith backed by action is unbeatable. Don't sit around waiting for signs, be the sign. Don't wait for a miracle, become one. The moment you truly believe something is yours, not wish, not hope, you start behaving differently. You act with urgency. You act with power. And the world takes notice. Opportunity reveals itself to the man or woman who refuses to doubt. Fear will whisper. Let it talk. You keep moving. Doubt will knock. Let it stand outside. You keep building. Circumstances may not cooperate, but remember, circumstances don't create destiny, belief does. Every time you affirm your desire, every time you see it in your mind, every time you speak it aloud with conviction, you are programming your future. Thought by thought, action by action, until what you once imagined becomes real. There are no limits to a man who believes. There are no walls that can withstand the pressure of consistent, focused faith. It is the key that unlocks closed doors. It is the spark that ignites sleeping giants. It is the bridge between where you are and where you must go. But you must carry it daily. You must guard it from the poison of doubt. You must nurture it with action, reinforce it with results, and protect it with relentless vision. Success is not for the lucky. It is for the certain, the bold, the focused, those who know what they want, see it clearly, and move toward it no matter how far. Because belief doesn't need a guarantee. It is the guarantee. So decide now, what do you want? See it, claim it, work for it, and above all, believe it is already yours. Faith is the foundation of all achievement. It is the ignition switch of desire into action. When faith enters the mind, hesitation exits. The moment you know something is possible for you, the energy inside you changes. You speak differently, you walk differently. You start to move with certainty, and certainty is rare. The world respects certainty. It listens to the man who believes and ignores the man who doubts. When you ignite desire with faith, you become unstoppable. No obstacle can outlast a mind set on fire by belief. You stop asking if and start declaring when. That single shift changes everything. Doubt delays action, but faith accelerates it. Faith doesn't wait for evidence. It creates the evidence through movement. It begins in the mind, where all creation starts. You see it first inside before you ever touch it outside, but this isn't fantasy. This isn't wishful thinking. This is deliberate creation. You train your mind to see the results so clearly that your body starts to follow. The blueprint of success is drawn with thought, but it is built with faith. A weak belief system is like trying to build a skyscraper on sand. It collapses, but strong faith acts like steel, holding up dreams that would otherwise fall under the weight of pressure, failure, and fear. You don't need others to believe in you if you do. One person with faith is more powerful than 1,000 with doubt. See your vision, hold it, feed it daily. What you consistently visualize, you start to internalize. What you internalize, you begin to act on. What you act on, you eventually manifest. This is not magic, it's mental discipline. The champions of this world don't wait for inspiration, they generate it. They build it with consistency. They see themselves winning long before anyone else can. Faith-backed visualization is like programming your mind for results. You are sending clear commands to your subconscious, and your subconscious doesn't resist, it responds. That's why vague goals bring vague results. That's why casual desire brings casual effort. But when your belief is precise, your focus becomes laser sharp, and your habits start reflecting your inner vision. Most people fail before they begin because they don't truly believe they can win. They speak about goals, but they doubt themselves in silence. That silent self-sabotage is poison, and the only antidote is dominant belief. Faith so strong it drowns out fear and speaks louder than excuses. This kind of faith doesn't need applause, doesn't seek permission, and doesn't shrink when it's tested. It expects resistance and still chooses persistence, because belief without work is a lie, but belief backed by work is divine power. There is no power in hoping something works out. Power lies in knowing it will, because you've already seen it in your mind, and now your actions match your vision. There is a moment in every great journey where the external world offers no proof of progress. Nothing around you looks like success. That's the test. That's where most people quit. But the ones who hold their belief through the silence, through the confusion, through the delay, those are the ones who break through. Faith isn't just about what you feel when things are going well. It's what you hold on to when everything is falling apart. It's what you stand on when there's nothing beneath your feet but conviction. You don't get what you want, you get what you believe you deserve. If your belief is small, your life stays small. But if your belief is massive, your potential becomes limitless. Speak life into your vision. Affirm it. Repeat it. Make it so familiar that doubt becomes a stranger. Your subconscious needs repetition and emotion. Say it like you already have it. See it like it's already yours. Or feel it like it's real. Because once your mind believes, your body begins to chase. Energy flows toward the strongest signal. Send a strong one. Broadcast belief. Train your brain to expect success. You don't need a perfect path. You need an unbreakable mindset. One rooted in certainty. One fueled by vision. One protected by faith. The world will test you. People will doubt you. Circumstances will resist you. But nothing is stronger than a made-up mind. Once your belief becomes non-negotiable, your pace changes. Your habits sharpen. You stop procrastinating. You stop second-guessing. And you start building. You build with urgency. You execute with speed. You sacrifice with joy. Why? Because you're not working for belief. You're working from belief. The fire is already burning. You're just feeding it with action. And that kind of person doesn't need external motivation. They are driven by something deeper, something internal, something unshakable. Faith is not soft. It is not gentle. It is not passive. Faith is aggressive. Faith is fierce. It dares to speak against logic. It dares to act against fear. It dares to move when everyone else stands still. Faith says, I will find a way or I will make one. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It demands you step forward. You don't grow into belief, you decide it. You don't wait for the right conditions, you create them. You don't hope for strength, you become it. Because the truth is, you were never waiting on a sign. You were waiting on yourself to believe. And now that you do, the rest of the world will catch up. What the mind can vividly see and believe, it begins to pursue with intensity. The moment an image is burned into the imagination with clarity and conviction, the body begins to respond. The emotions rise, the heartbeat changes, and suddenly the actions that once felt difficult become natural. This is the power of vivid vision, not fantasy, not guessing, but the disciplined act of seeing with the mind's eye what does not yet exist in physical form, and believing in it so deeply that every step taken feels like destiny in motion. When the mind is locked onto a vision, when it has accepted a goal as already done, the human spirit becomes relentless. It stops asking how and starts finding a way. It ignores the noise and sharpens its focus. Because once the mind accepts the picture, the pursuit becomes automatic. Vision is the seed of creation. Everything that has ever been built, invented, won, or transformed began as a mental image, nurtured by belief. The airplane, the skyscraper, the space shuttle, the championship, the empire, all began in someone's mind. Someone saw it so clearly they couldn't unsee it. And that's where the pursuit started, not from pressure, not from motivation, from belief. This isn't just positive thinking, this is strategy. When you repeatedly feed your mind an image of what you want, with vivid color, with movement, with sound, with feeling, you are activating a force far stronger than willpower. You are commanding your subconscious to obey, and the subconscious doesn't argue, it listens. It starts filtering your reality through the lens of your belief. You'll notice things others don't. You'll hear opportunities others miss. And most importantly, you'll act when others hesitate. The clearer the picture, the faster the progress. The mind does not chase what it cannot see. But once it sees it, once it believes it, it will move mountains to get it. It will wake you up early. It will make you stay late. It will rewire your identity until quitting becomes foreign and average becomes intolerable. Clarity is not optional. It is the standard for anyone who wants to rise above mediocrity. A vague dream produces vague actions, but a sharp vision pulls precision, urgency, and hunger out of a person. You must see it. You must taste it. You must feel it. Not once, not occasionally, daily, obsessively, because the mind becomes what it's fed, and if you keep feeding it power, it will produce power. This is why dreamers who truly believe are dangerous. They don't need support. They don't need validation. They've already seen the outcome. And once that belief takes hold, there is no backup plan, no retreat, no hesitation. They will either win or die trying. That level of conviction is rare, but it is the birthplace of greatness. Everyone around them might think they're crazy, but visionaries don't care how it looks. They care how it ends. They aren't trying to impress. They're trying to fulfill. They move with urgency because they're not guessing. They already know how it turns out. That knowledge doesn't come from proof. It comes from belief. You must train your mind to focus on what you want, not what you fear, to rehearse your future, not your doubts. See the result, not the resistance. Every time you visualize your desire with belief, you make it stronger. You build it brick by brick in the unseen until it becomes undeniable in the seen. This is not fiction. This is how champions are made. They win first in the mind. They taste victory before it ever appears. And by the time others recognize the achievement, it's already old news to the one who held the vision. Because they've been living in that reality long before it was public. They were rehearsing success while the world was sleeping. That's why they move with such certainty. The result is already finished inside them. This is why you must take full control of your mental screen. Guard it, direct it, program it. Do not let fear, failure, or opinions paint your vision. You are the architect. You are the artist. You are the builder. If you don't build your vision, you'll become a laborer in someone else's. Every single day, choose to see what you want, not once in a while, not just when you feel good, especially when you feel weak. That's when vision matters most. That's when belief must speak louder than your circumstances. It's easy to visualize when things are going well, but those who master the mind during adversity are the ones who rise beyond limits. Your brain is a goal-seeking machine. Give it a target, give it a mission, feed it with intensity, and the pursuit will follow. You'll find yourself doing things you once avoided. You'll attract people and resources you couldn't have planned for. Because when your belief is locked in, the world starts adjusting to match it. But you must be consistent. You must feed that image until it's stronger than your excuses, until the vision dominates the doubt, until the picture of what's possible becomes more real than the memory of your past. Once that happens, nothing can stop you, not fear, not setbacks, not time, because the mind that sees clearly, believes fully, and moves relentlessly cannot be denied. Visualization is not daydreaming, it is deliberate mental rehearsal of your success. It is a disciplined process, a focused act of creation where you don't just imagine the future you want, you train for it mentally. It's a drill, not a dream. Every time you close your eyes and see the outcome you desire in full detail, you're rehearsing reality before it arrives. You're stepping into the result before the world sees it. Champions don't visualize because it feels good. They do it because it's effective, because repetition in the mind is the preparation for performance in the world. If you can't see it with your eyes closed, you'll never hold it with your hands open. And those who treat visualization like a casual wish will always be outrun by those who use it as strategy. When you visualize with intensity, with clarity, with full emotional engagement, your mind begins to respond. Your body follows what the mind rehearses. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between real and vividly imagined. That means the more often you practice success mentally, the more automatic your actions become. You're conditioning your subconscious to accept this vision as familiar, to behave as though it's already true. When that happens, hesitation drops, fear weakens, and confidence rises. Visualization done correctly isn't about escape, it's about execution. You're preparing for the moment before the moment arrives. You're putting yourself into situations you haven't yet reached so that when they come, you're not surprised. You're ready. This is why the undisciplined fail. They let life surprise them. They wait for opportunity to knock before they build the door. But the ones who visualize are already at the door, already turning the knob, already stepping through. Because in their mind, they've walked that path 1,000 times. They've seen the room, they've felt the pressure, they've handled the success, they didn't need permission, they already rehearsed the win. And that's why when it happens, it looks effortless to others. But it wasn't luck. It was mental labor. It was inner work. They built it before it was built. They showed up before the world invited them. That's the discipline of visualization. And if you think this is soft work, you're wrong. This is war inside the mind. It's hard. Because it demands you see yourself beyond your current limitations. It forces you to reject what is and obsess over what can be. Most people can't do that consistently. They're stuck in what they've seen, what they've done, what others say is possible. But to visualize powerfully, you must disconnect from present evidence and create future proof. You must see strength when you feel weak. You must picture victory when you're surrounded by failure. You must imagine success while drowning in setbacks. That's real mental toughness. That's real training. That's what separates leaders from followers. And when you do it daily, your entire identity begins to shift. You stop saying maybe. You start saying when. You don't ask if you're ready, you declare that you are. Because your mind has already been there. You've already made the decisions. You've already faced the pressure. You've already conquered the moment. Now your body is just catching up to your belief. That is the power of deliberate visualization. It prepares you emotionally, physically, and mentally for the performance of your life. And no one can take that from you. Not your past, not your environment, not your critics. Because what you build in your mind is yours. And once your internal world changes, the external world must follow. But here's the truth. You can't fake this. You can't casually picture success and expect miracles. You must commit. You must feel it, own it, obsess over it. When you visualize, you must bring the full emotion of achievement. Don't just see the car, feel the steering wheel. Don't just imagine the speech, hear the applause. Don't just picture the bank account, taste the victory. Involve all your senses. Make it so real that your current life feels like a lie. That's when you know it's working. That's when your subconscious starts shifting. That's when you start doing things without resistance, because the belief is already rooted. And when belief is rooted, execution becomes instinct. This isn't something you do once and forget. It's daily. It's intentional. It's part of your discipline. You visualize not because things are perfect, but because you're building what will be. When you feel tired, visualize. When you feel fear, visualize. When you feel lost, visualize. That's how you lead your mind instead of letting your mind lead you. Your mind will drift toward doubt unless you direct it toward domination. And visualization is the steering wheel. It's how you command your focus. It's how you refuse to sink. And the longer you do it, the deeper your conviction grows. And conviction is power. Conviction makes your goals non-negotiable. It makes your future feel inevitable. And when something feels inevitable, effort becomes unstoppable. This is how the great ones prepare. They build it twice, first in the mind, then in the world. They close their eyes and see what others refuse to imagine. They make the invisible visible, and they chase it with force, not because it's easy, but because they've already tasted it in their vision. That hunger drives every move. It shapes their speech, sharpens their habits, and solidifies their identity, and that identity becomes their reality. So start seeing what you want, not loosely, but with detail, not once, but relentlessly. Because what you visualize consistently, with belief, with intensity, with emotion, will eventually become the life you live. Belief transforms the impossible into action. Without it, even the possible stays dormant. You can have all the talent, all the tools, all the knowledge, but without belief, nothing ignites, nothing moves. Potential remains buried, greatness stays locked, and opportunities walk right past you because you never dared to claim them. Belief is the gatekeeper of action. It's the silent force behind every bold move, every decisive step, every moment where the odds are stacked high, yet someone still charges forward. The world doesn't yield to the man who hesitates. It yields to the man who believes so strongly in the outcome that he commands it into existence. Belief is not given. It's chosen. It's built. It's reinforced through discipline and repetition until it becomes stronger than fear, louder than doubt, and more dominant than circumstance. There is nothing more paralyzing than a mind full of doubt. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will, because failure teaches, but doubt paralyzes. It keeps you standing still while time passes and chances disappear. A man who doesn't believe will talk himself out of opportunity. He'll rationalize his hesitation. He'll protect his fear. He'll hide behind logic. But the one who believes, truly believes, becomes dangerous. He doesn't need external proof. He creates his own. He doesn't wait for motivation. His belief is his motivation. He doesn't care if it's never been done. He only cares that he sees it, feels it, knows it. That kind of belief turns uncertainty into fuel. It turns resistance into challenge. It turns obstacles into training. Belief begins internally, but it echoes externally. The world can feel it. People follow it. Doors open for it. Belief speaks through your energy before you ever open your mouth. It's in your presence. It's in how you walk into the room. It's in how you respond to pressure. It's in your eyes when you talk about your vision. You don't need to convince others when you're convicted yourself, because belief is contagious. When it's real, it spreads. But it must start with you. You can't fake it. You can't borrow it. You must build it. And you build it by choosing it when it's hard. When everything in your reality tells you to quit, belief says go. When nothing around you looks like progress, belief says keep digging. When the results are silent, belief screams loud. That's when it matters most. Most people wait for success to believe, but the truth is, belief comes first. Action follows belief. Results follow action. And greatness is the outcome of unwavering belief met with relentless execution. The formula is simple, but most miss it because they let their current situation dictate their level of belief. They look at their bank account, their failures, their past, and they use it as evidence to limit their faith. But belief isn't based on what is. It's based on what will be. It sees beyond now. It looks at the vision, not the scoreboard. The man who believes in his future will never be trapped by his present. He'll keep moving, he'll keep building. He'll keep speaking life into the outcome until it shows up. Not because he hoped for it, but because he demanded it with his action. Belief must be defended. It will be attacked by life, by fear, by criticism. Every day you wake up, you're either feeding your belief or starving it. Through your thoughts, through your words, through your habits. You must protect it like a warrior guards a kingdom. Because if belief falls, action weakens. And if action weakens, destiny delays. You must affirm your vision, even when it looks crazy. You must act in alignment with that vision, even when results are invisible. That's how belief becomes reality. That's how dreams are built in the dark and revealed in the light. The process isn't easy, but belief makes it possible. It gives you the strength to show up again, to outlast those who quit, to stand tall while others sit down. And that's where champions are made, not when it's popular, but when it's painful. No one ever achieved anything legendary by playing it safe. Every person who ever changed the game believed in something bigger than themselves. They stared down rejection. They endured failure. They ignored critics, not because they were lucky, because they believed. They were possessed by a vision and committed to it with everything they had. They didn't just want it, they knew it. They trained their minds to focus only on the goal. And because of that, the impossible bent in their direction. Mountains moved, time obeyed, doors opened. The world makes room for those who refuse to doubt. It rewards the bold. It honors the disciplined. But only after they prove they won't fold under pressure. Belief is the root of persistence. It is the driver behind consistency. It's what keeps you going when motivation fades and the crowd is gone. The man who believes doesn't need applause. He doesn't care about the timeline. He trusts the process because he trusts himself. He sees setbacks as setups. He uses losses as lessons. He turns frustration into fire. And every time the world tries to push him back, he pushes harder. Not because he's fearless, but because his faith is greater than his fear. He knows the vision is real. He knows the goal is possible. And because he believes it, he acts like it. He lives like it. He fights for it. So you must ask yourself, what do you truly believe? Because your belief is the blueprint. Your actions are the construction. And your life is the result. If you want to change the outcome, change the belief. Build it, strengthen it, speak it, and back it with ruthless, relentless, unstoppable action. Every great accomplishment began as a vision backed by unshakable faith. Not luck, not convenience, not external permission. Just a mental picture so vivid it couldn't be ignored, and a belief so strong it refused to be shaken. The skyscraper once existed only in the mind of the architect. The business empire once lived only in the imagination of the entrepreneur. The gold medal, the trophy, the triumph, all of them started as invisible realities seen by someone who believed long before anyone else did. That's the origin of greatness, not circumstance, not approval, vision, and faith. The two forces that rewrite the rules, reshape the world, and elevate the few who dare to use them with discipline. Vision is the seed, faith is the soil, action is the growth. Without all three, nothing lasting can be built, but it all starts with vision. A clear mental image of the outcome, not a fantasy, not a random wish, but a focused and specific picture of what will be. The problem is, most people never see beyond what is. They let the present blind them from the future. They allow their environment to limit their imagination. They look around and use what they see to justify staying small. But the few who rise are the ones who look forward and build their life based on what they decide to see. They take control of the inner world so powerfully that the outer world begins to adjust. But vision alone is not enough. Without faith, vision fades. Faith gives it life. Faith breeds movement into imagination. Faith is the force that makes the dream feel real, even when the world says it's not. Faith says, keep going when nothing is working. Faith says, show up again when failure is fresh. Faith says this will happen. Not because it has before, but because you've already claimed it in your spirit. And here's the truth most don't want to hear. The world doesn't care about your goals until you prove you care enough to back them with consistent belief and relentless effort. That's where faith becomes the difference maker. That's where those with average talent outwork and outlast the gifted, because they believe with more intensity. Faith is not a soft concept. It is not weak. It is the sharpest weapon in the mind of the determined. It is how legends are forged. It is the reason some people become impossible to stop. They don't just hope, they know. Even when there's no evidence, even when the environment contradicts the goal. They hold the vision in their mind like a flame that cannot be put out, and because they never let go, the actions follow. And when the actions match the belief, momentum starts. Doors open, resources show up, the right people appear. It's not coincidence, it's alignment. The internal begins to shape the external. That's the law of faith in motion. But faith must be tested. Every champion has been broken. Every visionary has been doubted. Every great one has walked through setbacks so painful they could have justified quitting. But they didn't. Because faith doesn't retreat. Faith is strongest when it's challenged. Faith sharpens itself in the fire. And the people who win are not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who never surrender. When everything said stop, they said forward. When it hurt, they said harder. When it delayed, they said hold the line. That's the power of unshakable belief. It makes failure temporary. It makes struggle useful. It makes delay irrelevant. Because they're not living by what they see. They're living by what they know will come. Vision and faith work together. You need both. If you can't see it, you can't chase it. If you don't believe it, you'll never endure long enough to reach it. And both must be strengthened daily. You can't visualize once and expect change. You can't believe occasionally and expect breakthrough. You must build the picture every day in detail. You must affirm it, feel it, speak it, act on it. And when doubt tries to creep in, you shut the door. When fear whispers, you raise your voice. When weakness rises, you push harder. Because this isn't about comfort. It's about calling. This isn't about having an easy path. It's about having a fire so strong nothing can extinguish it. Faith is a habit. Vision is a skill. The more you use them, the stronger they become. If you want more out of life, you must commit to building both, daily, ruthlessly, without apology. Your current situation is not your limit. Your past is not your prophecy. Your environment is not your destiny. Your vision, fueled by faith, becomes the new reality when you act on it with discipline. And if you don't feel that belief yet, keep going, keep visualizing, keep moving, because faith grows through motion. Confidence rises through action. Strength develops through resistance. And the only ones who see it through are the ones who refuse to let the world dictate what they believe is possible. No one hands greatness to you. No one gives you a perfect set of conditions. It's earned by those who can see what isn't there yet and believe in it like it already exists. It's earned by those who stay obsessed with the result while others become distracted by the noise. The ones who win don't have more chances, they have more commitment. They make the internal picture so real that the world eventually has no choice but to reflect it. That's how all great accomplishments begin. With a clear vision, with unshakable faith, and with a person bold enough to act like it's already done. Doubt kills dreams faster than failure ever will. Eliminate it. Doubt is the silent assassin of progress, the invisible force that paralyzes action before it even begins. It whispers lies in your ear and convinces you that you're not ready, not good enough, not worthy. But here's the truth. Failure can teach you, strengthen you, refine you. Doubt only weakens you. Failure gives you data. Doubt steals your energy. You can recover from mistakes, but if you let doubt run your mind, you'll never even take the shot. You'll stall. You'll hesitate. You'll watch others pass you by, not because they're better, but because they moved while you sat still, second-guessing what you already knew you should do. Doubt doesn't need evidence. It doesn't ask for permission. It shows up uninvited and clings to your thoughts like a parasite. And the moment you feed it with attention, it multiplies. It's never satisfied. The more you entertain it, the stronger it becomes. And soon it wraps itself around every decision, every goal, every vision, until you don't even recognize your original ambition anymore. Doubt shrinks dreams to match your fear instead of expanding courage to match your potential. And if you don't confront it early, it becomes your default setting. Your instinct will be hesitation. Your habit will be delay. and your life will be full of almosts and maybes, not victories. You don't defeat doubt with comfort. You crush it with action. You destroy it by doing the very thing it tells you not to. You silence it by making moves in the face of fear. Confidence is built through defiance, defying the voice that says stop, ignore the urge to wait, reject the impulse to play small. Every time you choose forward over fear, you rewrite your identity. You teach your brain a new lesson: I move anyway, I show up anyway, I commit anyway. And with every step, the doubt loses power, because it cannot survive in the presence of action. It thrives in hesitation. It feeds off overthinking. But it dies when you move. Most people try to argue with doubt. They wait until it leaves. That's not how warriors think. Warriors know doubt is a liar, and liars don't deserve negotiation. They deserve silence. Ignore the voice. Starve it. Outwork it. Replace it. The stronger your movement, the weaker your doubt. You don't need more time. You don't need more preparation. You need more commitment to act before your mind talks you out of it. Your first instinct is usually right. Your vision is pure. The voice that says go is real. But doubt will come in right after it, trying to twist it, slow it down, bury it. You've got to be quicker. You've got to take the shot before doubt finishes its sentence. The greats never waited for the absence of doubt. They just made a decision to move despite it. They were scared. They were criticized. They were uncertain. But they still moved. That's the difference. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. You can have $1 million idea. If doubt owns your mind, you'll never build it. You can have talent, passion, even resources, but if you let doubt sit in the driver's seat, you'll crash before you leave the driveway. Progress requires belief stronger than fear, and belief is a choice. It's not a feeling you wait for, it's a decision you make every single day. Repetition builds belief. Belief builds courage. Courage kills doubt. That's the chain. It starts with what you do daily, not what you say, not what you intend, what you do. Every time you keep your promise to yourself, you raise your confidence. Every time you show discipline when it's easier to quit, you break another piece of doubt off your back. It's not a one-time event, it's war. And you must be relentless. You must decide every morning to move, to lead, to take ground. Because doubt is waiting. It's lurking in your inbox, in your reflection, in your distractions. It wants you slow. It wants you scared. It wants you average. And your job is to shut it down with execution. You don't need approval to start. You don't need applause to continue. You need clarity, discipline, and the willingness to act when it's uncomfortable. That's where freedom is born. That's how power is built. Doubt hates discipline because it can't coexist with someone who refuses to retreat. So stack the wins. Don't aim for perfect, aim for progress. Get in motion, build momentum, stack the habits. Let your actions scream so loud that doubt can't be heard over your consistency. Because once you start winning daily, doubt becomes irrelevant. It's not that it disappears. It just can't keep up with you anymore. Look around. The ones living the life you want didn't kill all their doubt before they moved. They just moved faster than their excuses. They sprinted when others hesitated. They stepped forward while others waited for signs. You want to change your life? Outrun your doubt. Outwork your doubt. Outbelieve your doubt. And if it creeps in again tomorrow, and it will, do it again. Choose courage again. Choose progress again. Doubt will never respect your dreams. That's not its job. It's your job to rise anyway, to step through the noise, to hold your vision firm while your mind fights to tear it down. There's no room for hesitation in high achievement. No space for endless questioning. You already know what needs to be done. The longer you wait, the colder your dream becomes. Take the next step. Make the next move. Eliminate the doubt by becoming the person who never stops. That's the secret. Not perfection, not magic, just forward, every day, no matter what. And soon doubt won't be part of your language anymore, because your life will be speaking so loudly there'll be no room for it to exist. The subconscious mind responds to dominant thoughts held with emotion and belief. It does not judge. It does not analyze. It accepts what you give it, and it begins to shape your actions, habits, and identity to match. If your thoughts are weak, scattered, or infected with doubt, your results will mirror that. But if your thoughts are focused, emotional, and believed with intensity, the subconscious begins to move like a machine, driven, persistent, and aligned with your desires. This is not mysticism. This is mental law. Whatever you impress upon the subconscious consistently with feeling becomes your reality, not because of chance, but because of internal programming turned into outward behavior. You become what you repeatedly tell yourself with conviction. The people who achieve at the highest levels are not lucky. They are mentally trained. They've conditioned their minds to hold a single image of the outcome, feel it with depth, and back it with unwavering belief. That image lives in their thoughts day and night. It's what they see when they wake up, what they visualize in silence, what they speak about when no one's listening, and over time that image moves from wishful thinking to a deep subconscious directive. Their identity shifts. They don't try to succeed. They expect to succeed. That's the power of dominant thoughts. They don't just influence mood, they command behavior. They mold destiny. The subconscious doesn't care if the thoughts are true or false, helpful or harmful. If repeated with emotion and belief, it will accept them and act on them. That's why negative self-talk is lethal. That's why complaining destroys momentum. That's why fear magnified becomes paralysis. Every time you repeat weakness with emotional intensity, your subconscious takes note and adapts to that identity. It will guide your actions to reflect your internal story. It will sabotage opportunity to match the belief that you're not ready. And it will block breakthrough because your dominant thoughts say you don't deserve it. But you can flip the switch. You can rewire the narrative. You can feed the subconscious with vision, power, and certainty, and it will obey. Repetition is the tool. Emotion is the fuel. Belief is the gatekeeper. You must combine all three. You must affirm the goal with passion. You must visualize the end result with clarity. You must speak it, see it, feel it, until it becomes part of your mental framework. That's when the subconscious begins to work for you instead of against you. That's when your decisions start to shift. Your discipline strengthens. Your environment adapts. Because now you're not reacting, you're creating. You're not waiting, you're commanding. That's what separates average minds from exceptional ones. The exceptional feed their mind with the future until it bleeds into every action they take. If you want change, start with thought. Thought repeated becomes belief. Belief becomes habit. Habit becomes behavior. Behavior becomes results. This is not a motivational theory. It's a psychological structure. And if you ignore this, your subconscious will default to the thoughts you're already feeding it. If those thoughts are fear, doubt, procrastination, your life will reflect that pattern. But if you decide today to take control, to dominate your mind with thoughts of power, growth, and unshakable certainty, you begin to rewrite the blueprint. You create a new script, one that demands progress and rejects weakness, one that moves you even when you're tired, even when you're alone, even when nothing seems to be working, because your subconscious no longer needs evidence. It runs on the program you gave it. The mind cannot hold two conflicting beliefs with intensity. One will dominate. So if your dream is massive, your belief must be stronger than your fear. Your emotion behind the vision must outweigh the emotion behind your insecurity. And the way you do that is repetition. Consistent thought, charged with emotion, backed with belief, driven by action, day after day, until the old thoughts die from neglect and the new thoughts rule the mind. And when that happens, the world changes. Not because it bends for you, but because you bent yourself first. You shifted what you expect. You redefined what's possible. You refuse to let temporary feelings dictate long-term direction. This is not about fake positivity. This is not about reciting empty phrases. This is about building mental muscle, real belief, real clarity, real focus. It takes effort. It takes time, but it works. Feed your subconscious with strength, and you will live strong. Feed it with weakness, and you will break at the first test. You must decide what kind of life you want, then train your mind to match it. And you must do it with emotion. Without emotion, thoughts fade. Without belief, words mean nothing. But when you speak with conviction, when you feel the outcome before it arrives, when you hold the picture with absolute certainty, the subconscious has no choice but to obey. Your subconscious is the engine behind everything you do. If the engine is weak, you stall. If it's misaligned, you crash. But if it's trained, tuned, and pointed in the right direction, you move with power. And no one can stop you. You become the kind of person who doesn't need permission, who doesn't wait for signs, who doesn't negotiate with excuses. You become a force. And that force starts in thought, dominant thought, charged with emotion, protected by belief, fueled by repetition. That's how you change your mind. That's how you build an unbreakable mindset. And once your mindset is unbreakable, your path is inevitable. Persistent faith backed by action makes the unseen become reality. Faith alone is powerful, but when it's combined with relentless movement, it becomes unstoppable. You can believe in your vision all day long, but if you don't act on it, it remains an invisible wish. The unseen doesn't become reality through hope. It becomes real through repeated, deliberate, and focused execution. What you see in your mind, you must build with your hands. You must commit to the idea so deeply that your actions start reflecting the outcome before anyone else can even comprehend what you're creating. That's how transformation begins, by moving as if it already exists. The world doesn't respond to idle dreams. It responds to motion. And only those who continue to act, even when nothing seems to be happening, get to see their unseen turn into the visible. Faith must be tested through repetition. It must be proven through sacrifice. The belief must stay strong even when the path is unclear, even when the odds are stacked, even when everything around you screams impossible. If you can stay grounded in your faith and refuse to slow your movement, you shift the tide. You begin to influence the environment rather than letting the environment dictate your speed, your energy, or your direction. Faith doesn't remove obstacles. It gives you the mindset to walk through them. It doesn't eliminate setbacks. It redefines them as part of the process. When you believe in something so completely and back that belief with consistent, aggressive action, resistance becomes fuel. You stop interpreting delays as denial. You stop interpreting failure as final. You recognize every setback as a test, every struggle as a filter, weeding out the weak, sharpening the strong. And if you keep moving, you win. Not maybe, not possibly, inevitably. Because no one who keeps walking with faith and discipline stays in the same place forever. Persistent faith is not about hype. It's about conviction. It's about waking up every day and doing what most won't. It's about holding your vision like a fire in your chest and letting that flame guide your steps. And when others get tired, distracted, or discouraged, you press forward, because faith gives you fuel when motivation is gone. Action gives you clarity when doubt tries to creep in. And when both are combined, faith in the unseen and action in the now, your vision begins to shape reality. Not because it was easy, but because you refuse to stop. There's a reason most people don't reach what they desire. They break too early. They hold the vision until it gets hard. They believe until it gets uncomfortable. But the ones who win, they hold faith and keep building. They don't slow down to match the world's doubt. They speed up to prove it wrong. They trust the outcome so completely that their pace never softens. And because of that, they get momentum. They create results out of pure will, focused energy, and consistent execution. It's not magic. It's not fate. It's decision. Faith without hesitation. Action without apology. You cannot build anything extraordinary with shallow belief and part-time effort. You must be obsessed. You must see what others don't see, and then work like you've already tasted the result. That's the edge. That's how you take the invisible and bring it into form. Most people look for proof before they believe. You must believe until the proof appears. And once it does, it will come so fast that others will call it luck. They won't see the lonely nights, the early mornings, the painful rejections you push through with your eyes still locked on the outcome. They won't understand how you never folded, but you will. And that understanding will fuel your next level. Faith is a force multiplier when it's tied to action. Belief without execution is hollow. Action without belief is directionless. But when you combine the two, when your actions are born from your deepest conviction, You become dangerous. You become unshakable. Your energy changes. Your environment starts to shift. People begin to notice, and opportunities start appearing not because they came to you randomly, but because your faith and your movement created the gravity that pulled them in. You engineered the outcome. You weren't waiting for life to hand it to you. You were building it with your own hands while everyone else was doubting and delaying. And if you're still doubting yourself, remember this. The fact that you can see the vision means it's possible. But seeing it is not enough. Speaking it is not enough. You must live like it's real before it ever shows up. You must move like it's already yours, because that's the signal your actions send to the world. They tell everything around you, I'm not playing games. I'm not testing the waters. I'm building something that already exists in my spirit. Now I'm making it physical. And nothing, no delay, no critic, no failure can stop what's already claimed through faith and carved out through action. So start now, not next week, not when it's easy, not when the doubt fades. Now, lock in your vision, wrap it in unbreakable belief, then move, keep moving, again and again, until the unseen becomes the only thing everyone else can see. So now you know, the unseen becomes reality, not through chance, not through luck, not through wishful thinking, but through the force of persistent faith fueled by relentless action. If you believe it, live it. If you see it in your mind, chase it with your hands. Speak it, walk it, build it, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you fall. Do not stop. Do not flinch. Do not bow to the noise of the world or the weakness of fear. You are not here to wonder what could have been. You are here to manifest what must be. And when others hesitate, you advance. When others doubt, you double down. Because faith without action is fiction, and your life demands facts, results, and impact. Decide, lock in, move. Your future is waiting for your courage to make it real.